Alright, MTWS fans, the day has finally arrived to reveal the tracks for the 2024 MTWS 15th anniversary season. As you already saw months ago with the 2024 MTWS All-Star Challenge track, which was a month ago, I am now about to show the rest of the tracks. I made these tracks from March all the way up till July 31st. It took almost the exact amount of time as it did the last 2 years, with 3 months head start, which is kind of annoying. Even with I think 6 extra tracks or so, that's still kind of bad. But the wait's over, as we're now about to see them. What will the trucks be driving on this year? So, here we go, MTWS fans. And our first stop in Minneapolis is this beauty, as it is going to be a variation of Vegas into St. Louis style racing with a big ass triple with the crossfed ramps and such. This is going to be a first, as just like the last 2 years, I drive on the track showing off how it's done. As like I said, it is Vegas into St. Louis style racing. It was actually kind of difficult driving there because it was a little rusty not driving it a bit for actual racing, as this is the first season opener for the East Coast is MTWS's return to Minneapolis after almost 9 years, as they're going to make our debut in US Bank Stadium. Look forward to that, MTWS fans, as this is going to be one hell of a start to the season. And then after that, it's the Inglewood, the West Coast part of the season opener, as this is a wild track, as it is going to be a variation of Over and Under World Finals 21 with a little bit of a different start in between as well. So instead of starting how they do in the World Finals and All-Star Challenge, they start on that hill instead, way down there, and they cut the corner short right here, and it's just over and under afterwards. I had to make the landing ramp right there much lower, else they wouldn't clear with the little speed they're getting. But it works. I see how it is over here. They have to do a whole lap around too, and such, as this track took a lot of work to fix the stadium mile and such with the pains. But that is the season openers in Inglewood and Minneapolis. See you there on August 28th for those events. And then after that, we're off to Seattle on September 1st with paperclip style racing. First time here in Minneapolis, Seattle, in almost 10 years as well. I had a quite hard time deciding on what the track would be before I finally decided on paperclip, as can't wait to see how it's going to go, as did a little different twist with that one jump with the step up facing the opposite way and such. But yeah, MTWS make a return to Seattle for the first time since October 18th. Looking forward to that with paperclip style racing and with a bowl in the middle instead of a hybrid. And after on September 4th, we're going to be in the Royal Farms Arena in Baltimore for the first part of the MTWS Arena Tour. 4 events in arena each month, as is going to be Chicago-style racing here. And don't you worry, there is going to be cars out there, but not till freestyle, because we need all the room for racing. And this was also part of the reason why I didn't feel comfortable doing paperclip in Seattle a few days before, because it was going to be very similar to Chicago-style, but had to be done out here. Wanted to do it for one of the arena tours, and Baltimore already had it there, so it made it default. So tune in on September 4th for the first MTWS Arena Tour event in Baltimore. And then after that, of course, we're in Virginia Beach on September 8th for the first ever beach event in MTWS history. And with that big area, we decided we're going to do Tokyo-style racing, as it's been so long since we last done this with the big room floor we have. Tokyo-style racing, which of course was made in MTWS, as I showed off right here. They start on one end, they then take a turn right here, a sharper turn, because there's another turn they have to make down there later on, but much wider. They have to go over a little hill. As you see, I struggled because there was also some lag too. Then you have to line up for this cross-spread jump right here, to cross back over to the original lane. Then you have to turn down here, and then slide out a bit as I did, go line up for the jump right here, and cross back over to the original lane, and then you have to go all the way down here, past here, make this turn, and then you line up right for the jump and go over that hill, which is the first time, and there you go. That is how Tokyo-style racing is done. And cannot wait to see it happen on September 8th here in Virginia Beach in our debut. Then after that, we're in Atlanta for the first time ever at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, as we're going to do Over and Under World Finals 21, once again, the actual version though, not the variation we did in Inglewood, as this is a huge track, because barely have it all in the entire screen and such. So, yep, over and under World Finals 21 style as you see. Start on top of a hill, and then it's just like such. As this is a style that's been done a lot in MTWS over the last 2 years. And it's not the last time we're going to be seeing it too. As just barely had enough room to fit on there. Plus, didn't want to do the straight line race they've done on Atlanta Motor Speedway. So the one coming ahead wanted to do something a little bit different. And there you go. That's what's going to be in Atlanta on September 15th. Over and under World Finals 21 style. And then on September 22nd, we're returning to El Paso with Bob Style Racing. It's been a bit since we've last seen it's been used in MTWS. And it's nice that we can come back in here after almost 2 years. As the trucks start all the way near the wall right here. And we have a new obstacle we haven't used for the first time in a while. We brought back like that car pyramid from St. Louis 2009, I believe it was. We've used it before, but it's been a long time since we've done an MTWS, and it's going to be back again. Can't wait for that. As over that hill, and that is Bob Style Racing, and tune in on September 22nd for that action. And then we're wrapping up September by going to Philadelphia, first time here in almost 10 years, as is going to be Jersey Style Racing with the giant fountain we used back in Arlington and such, and a new triple Senda jammer setup never used before as well. As we show off how this is, and it's going to be a little hill, like a giant roller too for racing right here, not even a big jump. That way you can get like a big stoppie across for freestyle such if they so want to. As cannot wait to come back here. First time since December 28th, 2014 that we're going to be in Philadelphia. It's nice to be back and looking forward to it to wrap up September as we get ready to go into October for some more action. As you see the results there. As we show off here, just like in San Diego 2022, as it's Vegas into SoCal as they turn around that hit the van stack and such over there, and then line up for the jump right here. So that is Miami in our return after 9 years. I screw up a little bit going over the final jump. And then after that, we head down to Houston for Cincinnati Style Racing, as we have not done this in MTWS since we debuted it in 2022 in Cincinnati. After almost 2 years, it's going to be used again, this time outside of Cincinnati, as it's going to be done in Houston. So for all of you who don't know how Cincinnati style is done, they line up behind a hill and then they go over another hill, and then it becomes somewhat like Chicago style, where they have to take a jump right here. Then after the jump, they have to line up for a giant jammer right here, go over it, like right there, and then go over the final jump to wrap it up, as that is Cincinnati Style Racing, and we'll be seeing it done in Houston on October 13th. And then after that, on October 20th, we're going to be in Syracuse for the first time in almost 9 years, as it is going to be St. Louis Style Racing, just like it was last time we came here in 2015. Of course, the bus backflip wall and such, as we show it off. Giant jump too, gonna get some big skywheelies off the jump and such instead of getting the distance. As go around the hill, gonna have crossroads too on the doubles right there. We're out the semi-trailer stack as well, like we did last time we were here in 2015. In our return to Syracuse, cannot wait for it as I screw up with the final jump, but you all know it's how St. Louis style is gonna go. So tune in on October 20th for MTWS's return to Syracuse. Then after that, on October 27th, we're going to be down in Brisbane, Australia for the International Series, as it is going to be Figure 8 Style Racing with a huge ass triple, the All-Star Challenge triple, really filled up with buses, and made a new double obstacle with a bus stack, and at the end is a step up and a tire backflip wall, so they get backflips off it too, which is going to be really cool. So yeah, Figure 8 Style Racing, you see, going to go right for that jump, and then both trucks are going to turn around the hybrid right here, kind of like how they did in El Paso in 2022 when it was first pretty much done in MTWS. I screwed up a little bit on the turn. So yeah, cannot wait to come here on October 27th for our International Series, as MTWS will make its debut in Brisbane. What a wild track and what a fun night it's going to be on this event. And then to wrap up October, on October 30th, as it's going to be next part of our arena tour as we make our debut in Reno, as it's going to be Vegas Style Racing, on a pretty tight track if you look at with all the obstacles and such. The only difference is going to be going over this hill, but other than that, it's Vegas style racing, although going to have a tight corner right there after they get off the jump, and line for that jump right here to wrap it up as they barely clear the jump right there, as that is Reno and our debut there on October 30th. And then we begin our November in Jacksonville, as it is going to be Chicago style racing in our return with a new double with the jammers in as an obstacle as well. It's been a long time since we've done Chicago and Jacksonville. I think all the way back in 2011, as this will be a first time here since October 9th of 2022, when it was at inverted St. Louis, which I need to do one day again in the future. But yeah, Chicago style going to return to Jacksonville on November 3rd, so tune in for that to begin November. Then after that, on November 10th, of course, we're going to be in Las Vegas, as we are going to do SoCal style racing, first time in Vegas. And I did a bit of a goof with the track because I didn't paint a 15th anniversary obstacle. I think I got one made as a bonus obstacle, but man, that's pretty embarrassing. That just wouldn't come to my head to do that. And remember that double I made in Brisbane? Well, I reused it here, but changed it with the cars, so now it's going to be a step up on each side of it, as you can see. So they start on top of that hill, and then it becomes SoCal afterwards, where they're going to have to make an inward turn right here as they come down the end of the straightaway. As I had a bit of a lag going into those turns. Going around that, and there you go. And then make the lap around, and there you go. That's how racing will be done here when we come here on November 10th. So tune in for that return to Vegas, because that is going to be nice to see some SoCal in Vegas. And then our next stop in Kansas City is going to be this. The track that was used in Monster Jam in 2024 several times. I don't know what it's called. I've asked a whole bunch of people, and someone told me that they think it's called Houston style. So that's what I'm going to go with. And of course, there's going to be more cars in freestyle, but we have to have as much room as possible in racing. So yeah, once again, using another modern Monster Jam track. Shows you I do use them in MTWS. As go around right here, it was kind of difficult to get used to again because it was on V5, plus I think it was lag. Also, the stave is not fully done. As you see those black spots, those were sponsorships on the original model of the track I got from, but I can't get rid of them because can't convert them through the converter because the file's too big, so unfortunately they have to stay there. But that's MTWS 2024 Kansas City when we make our debut there on November 17th. Then after that, it'll be on November 20th in Fargo for our next stop in the Arena Tour, as we're using a brand new tanker obstacle that Eric made in a bunch of his tracks, as has a backflip like tire ramp on, although it doesn't quite work fully. But hey, a new interesting obstacle will finally make its debut as well. And of course, racing's going to be St. Louis style, and MTW's return to Fargo for the first time since September 13th of 2015. Can't wait for our return, as we'll be nearing the end of the Arena Tour. And can't wait to see us come back, along with going for that obstacle coming up soon. So tune in on November 20th when MTWS returns to Fargo. Then after that, on November 24th, we're going to be in Foxborough, as we're going to do figure 8 style racing, which will be cool and all that. And we're using the World Finals 14 racing lane with like the double backflip ramp, although we're going to cover it up with cars in this one instead to make it like a step up. So no double backflips this time. Our second time of the season, I think, doing figure 8, and I don't think it's going to be the last time either, as of course shown off here. This is the first time though we're doing it in Foxborough, as I struggle a little bit in the turn, and it's a good thing I did this video too, because I found there was something wrong with one of the van stacks floating above the dirt, so I was able to fix that, which was nice. As yep, screw up a little bit right there, as that is Foxborough when we arrive there on November 24th. And then for Thanksgiving on November 28th, MTWS will be in Julian, as for the third time this year, we're doing over and under World Finals 21 style, as this was originally the idea I wanted to do in 2023 when we came here, but I didn't think it was going to fit, so that's why I went with straight line racing. But I managed to try to do it this year, and oh boy, it was a tight fit, as it's going to be a tough track with all these obstacles out here too, with a new like ramp of a backflip wall, a new like center jump from World Finals 4 with the bus stack and all that. Very intense track. So yeah, as we show off the track right here, as you see, it was a very, very, very tight fit. As when trucks come out here both times, they have to really slow down, line up. As you see, I just tapped the wall right there. It was just a barely, and I mean barely tight fit. I wanted to try this, like I said, in 2023. Didn't think it was going to work out, so I decided to not do it. And I see right here, tapped the wall right there, which is not good, as I just barely clear right there. I had to lower the ramp a lot in order for it to work. It's a tight fit, but it'll still work either way, as that is MTWS and Julian when we arrive there on November 28th for Thanksgiving. And then on December 1st, we'll make our debut in Salt Lake City, as we're once again doing that Houston-style track, the second time of the season. The track, I think both tracks already had out there for the stadium, so I decided to just use it again. And once again, no cards out there. They'll be there for freestyle, but we need more room for racing. And if you didn't notice in the picture, there actually is a little difference from the Kansas City track, as there's no backflip wall down the end like it was in Kansas City. And there is going to be some differences for freestyle on this track. There's going to be more cars out here than it was in Kansas City, as that was like a test run, and this time, the second time around, I felt more used to it, so I could do more stuff out here. So tune in on December 1st for MTWS's debut in Salt Lake City. And after on December 8th, we're in New Orleans, as we're going to do Vegas-style racing. The last time before the season, championship, since I wasn't going to do it in Glendale, I decided I might as well do it right now to get it out of the way. As we made a new box fan setup for an update from one I had back in 2021. First time we're doing Vegas-style race in New Orleans since the season opener in 2012, after we did U-turn last year. Need to do some more variation in New Orleans, but that's what we did here, and can't wait when we come back here on December 8th. And then on December 15th, we're going to be in Cincinnati for our first time there in over 2 years, as once again, we're doing Cincinnati-style racing with a little bit of an update and variation from what we did in Houston. And of course, use a new tabletop that I got my hands on, so can't wait to see how that's going to be done. So the difference here is that there's no roller to crawl over, unlike in the last two times we tried this event out. Since last time here in 2022 when we did the debut of Cincinnati-style racing, it caused a lot of problems with the truck, so instead this time around I decided not to bother having to hit the hill instead, so they'll have no resistance, just line up for the finish line and cross over and stop in time. So yeah, can't wait when we come back here on December 15th. And then of course on December 22nd we're going to make our debut in Daytona, as we're going to do paperclip style racing here in this wide open speedway track, as got a whole bunch of obstacles out there and such. And what's very funny about this track is I actually goofed when I put down the cars down. As you might notice, there's no cars and stuff on the stuff for paperclip racing, as I forgot to put them there. It's so funny. I was so focused on all the other obstacles, but no matter. This will be good and all that. We can leave them without cars for once in a while. But yep, that is going to be our debut in Daytona, as can't wait on December 22nd. And then on December 24th, there will be our final event of the MTWS Arena Tour, as we make our debut in Oklahoma City, as we are going to do Bob-style racing with a bit of a variation. Instead of backing up to a wall, the starting line will be right at the first diagonal hill, as you see right there, and such, and there's going to be more cars out there for freestyle when it comes around, but we had to make room for racing. So as you can see right here, they just line up at that hill, and that's it. It's just regular old Bob-style racing afterwards. It's going to be a tight fit between those turns to avoid the walls and such, but hey, they'll be able to do it, and that will wrap up the arena tour when we make our debut in Oklahoma City on December 24th. And then for the season finales. So our first season finale, of course, is in Detroit, as is going to be elevated St. Louis style racing that was done in World Finals 22. It's going to be quite difficult though for the line for the trucks, because it's completely on an angle. There's no like straight and flat area to start off with. They start right on the hill at an angle. That's going to be tough to line up for, but really wasn't much room otherwise to get line up, and it was to get a smooth straight line down and all that. And made a new container stack, which I thought of while making Oklahoma City, that I wanted to try out, as you can see over there. Toughest part of the track, of course, is going to be up that hill to start off with, but once that's over with, the event will be much easier. That jump will be a little bit of a problem, and there's going to be a tough spot in between that gap right there, and of course I have to jump with the jackrabbit in the middle of the track, but the trucks will hopefully surely manage, and that turn's going to be tight as well, so I screw up a lot right there. But of course, that will be the racing in Detroit. And then last up is Glendale for the final part of the season, as is going to be SoCal style with a little bit of a twist, as the trucks are going to start at the end of the race lane instead of on top of it. You see where the finish line is? It's going to also be the start line as well, as brought that tanker stack we debuted in Fargo. And brought a whole bunch of obstacles out there, with maybe more coming up pretty soon too later on. And I brought 2 skill rollers out there too, as you see, diagonally near the racing lane. It'll be interesting to see how they're going to do at those angles. This, of course, is the first ever regular season event in Glendale for MTWS. Only other times we've been here was for the championship, and what a cool way to wrap up the year coming here to Glendale. As you see, that's going to be a tight spot right there with the double and such in the way, but the trucks will eventually get used to it, as it took a while for me to get used to it too in that turn. As that would wrap up the regular season, December 29th, Detroit and Glendale, before we get ready for the championship, as I got a big skyway up that jump to wrap up my pass. And that is it, MTWS fans. Those are the tracks for the 2024 MTWS season. And of course, I have not made the track for the Runners-Up Cup and the championship yet, which of course will be in Baltimore on January 25th and February 1st of 2025. I will be making them later on, probably in November and such. You'll see them when they're done and all that, but need a little bit of a break after making the tracks. I spent like the last 4 months or so making all these tracks. I need a little bit of a break. But anyways, those are the tracks for the season. Hope you all enjoyed. They'll be up to download after the events happen such. And remember to tune in on August 28th for the season openers in Minneapolis and Inglewood. So now to wrap up the video, we'll see the tracks one more time. So hope you all get ready to go for the 15th anniversary MTWS season of 2024. Hope you all enjoy coming up.
You wave to be wrapped around your grave. You got to fight.